Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Crypto Invest. Today I do want to talk about Ethereum. It has been going up steadily the last few days. So let's take a look as to what is going on with Ethereum, what may be causing Ethereum to go up. And before I move forward, I do want to say that this is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice. So with that, let's get into it. Alright, so at the time of this video, Ethereum is currently sitting at $350 or so. And the last 7 days, Ethereum has been making quite a move from $310 all the way to as high as $371 as of November the 19th, which is earlier today. And then now it's dropped down to about $350. And if you have been holding Ethereum the last 3 months, it's been stuck at around 300 for quite a while. So to a lot of investors that bought Ethereum back in the summer, they are quite irritated or quite impatient with the price. Even though over the last 1 year, Ethereum has been gaining a lot. You know, as early as January, it was at around $10. And currently it is at $350. So it has gone up quite a bit. But the last 3 months, it has been really slowing down until just the last 7 days. So let's take a look as to why Ethereum has been steadily rising. So if you take a look at Ethereum, the one news that coming out the last couple of days that I think is the main driver for all of this is that Ethereum could launch the first Casper testnet. And I have heard that the testnet for Casper has already been launched. Even though it's just the testnet, it does have Casper does have quite a significant impact in the long run for Ethereum price. So let's talk about what is Casper and why do you care and what does it mean for Ethereum. So in order to do this, we have to first take a look at Ethereum roadmap. So this is a steamed post. By the way, all the link will be in the description below for you to take a look at your own time. But I just want to give you a high level of everything here. So for Ethereum, currently there are 4 major stages on their roadmap. The first one is Frontier. So Frontier is the first live release of Ethereum network. It is mostly for developers to test out the network. So that's the beginning, and that was back in July 2015. Now the next stage was Homestead, which is where we were at for most of 2016 and most of 2017. And Homestead is the major second release of Ethereum, and that is where the network is ready for a lot of its usage, meaning that people can start creating decentralized applications. A lot of ICOs, initial coin offering, was created during this phase, Homestead, and a lot of early adopters have bought and used Ethereum during this phase. And that phase was ended back in October, so about a month and a half ago, and we are now moving into Metropolis. So Metropolis is gonna be a major upgrade for Ethereum, and it is the version that will open the door to mass adoption. So this is pretty big stage, and it's gonna divide into 2 upgrades. So the first upgrade is gonna call Byzantium. So that's the first portion of Metropolis, and that has been done back in October 15, 16 or so, and that one was pretty successful. But Byzantium doesn't really carry a lot of the benefit to the front end users. A lot of the benefit was for the developers on the back end. That's how I see it. So that's why it doesn't really have the price effect that a lot of people was looking for. But the second release of Metropolis is going to be called Constantinople, and with this one here, it's going to have a significant impact because that's where Casper protocol will be introduced. And if you're not sure what Casper is, it's going to have a lot of impact on Ethereum futures. So let me go into a little more detail about Casper. But first, let's just go back here and take a look at the last stage, which is Serenity. So Serenity is going to be the last phase of the Ethereum network. That's when Ethereum is truly ready for the masses and mass adoption, and the goal is to completely switch Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake by using Casper. So let's get into a little more detail on this. So for starter, the Casper protocol update mission is pretty straightforward. It is only goal is to shift Ethereum from being a proof of work system, POW, to a proof of stake system, POS. So let's take a look to see what is a proof of work, what is a proof of stake. I do want to say that I have a video on my channel that explains POW and POS in more details. So in this video, I just want to give you some high-level context as to what they are. So this is a pretty high-level comparison between the two, proof of work and proof of stake. A lot of the cryptocurrencies that we are currently seeing right now are in the proof of work system, and this includes some major ones like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. And then some of the cryptocurrencies, a minority of them are currently in proof of stake. That includes things like Qtum. So let's get into the differences. So with the proof of work system, also known as mining, so proof of work is a requirement to define an expensive computer calculation, also called mining. So you're using computing to verify transaction, and in order for you to verify transaction, you first have to solve a complicated blocks problem. It's a mathematical problem that the network issues. So once you become the first miner who solved that blocks problem, you are being rewarded a block, which currently, for example, for Bitcoin, that's 12.5 Bitcoin per block every 10 minutes. The network miners compete to be the first to find a solution for the mathematical problems. So every computer on a network will constantly improving itself. The owner, say for example a mining farm, will constantly upgrading the hardware. Either for Bitcoin, that's the ASIC mining hardware, and for Ethereum it's going to be better and faster GPU, the graphic cards, in order for you to be the first to solve the blocks, in order for you to get the block rewards. Now with proof of stake is a little different. So with proof of stake, the creator of the new block is chosen in a deterministic way depending on its wealth, also defined as stake. So you're not gonna use your money to buy expensive mining hardware like a GPU or an ASIC miner. What you do is you lock up that particular coin. That will be your stake in the system. So for example, if Ethereum becomes proof of stake, then you will lock up Ethereum into the system, and with that, how much Ethereum you have locked up in the staking hardware, that's how much you can verify the transaction based on proportion to the stake that you have in the system. So the more skin in the game, if you will, the more that you can stake and the more that you can verify and the more that you can get rewarded. But you don't get rewarded by a block. For the proof of stake system, there will be no block reward. Instead, you will get transaction fees. So just like currently, the miner get the block reward and the transaction fee, but in the proof of stake, you will just get the transaction fees. And the proof of stake currencies can be several thousand times more cost effective because you don't have to constantly using electricity, a lot of it, or you don't have to constantly be buying more hardware to compete in the proof of work system. So that's why. So we can get into this a little more in a bit here, and what does it mean for the pricing of Ethereum. So one of the reason why that some people I should say prefer proof of stake over proof of work is that the energy consumption level. So this one is a chart about Bitcoin energy consumption index, and I choose Bitcoin because Bitcoin is currently the largest one of them all, and to participate in mining, you're essentially wasting a lot of energy. It's not eco-friendly at all, and the reason for that is because you have to run all these expensive and highly energy hungry machines all day and all night in order for them to compete and compute the mining mathematical problems for you to get the mining reward. So that is really expensive in terms of electricity. I mean, you have seen pictures from big mining farm like Genesis, and you can see how much money they are spending per month on electricity. And how much? For Bitcoin currently, the entire network, they are using 28.67 terawatt per hour. That is crazy. And not only that, the Bitcoin network consumption of energy is almost as much as the entire country of Slovak Republic. And with that, the number of US households that could be powered by Bitcoin mining network is about 2.6 million households. So you can see a lot of energy are being wasted for mining Bitcoin. So that's one of the big reasons why Ethereum want to move from proof of work to proof of stake. But there are also other reasons as well. So another reason based on this Steemit article that I agree with is that proof of stake does make the whole system way more secure, because it will be more costly to try to attack the system. 1,000 Ether is more expensive than electricity bill, because it will be taken away almost immediately if somebody try to act funny, meaning that if someone try to cheat the network. This makes almost impossible for the 51% attack compared to proof of work. All the benefits will be no special equipment. For example, you don't need an ASIC miner like on the Bitcoin network. Block creation will be way faster, and also will make the blockchain scalable by introducing the concept of sharding. And I explained sharding on my video about the future of Ethereum. That is how Ethereum is planning to scale in the future, where each node, if you will, they no longer have to download the whole transaction history, but it's only gonna need a piece of them. That's called sharding. So if you want to know more about it, watch my videos on the future of Ethereum that I published about a few weeks ago. And then the last major benefit based on this article is that in comparison to Bitcoin, Bitcoin can approve about 3 to 4 transactions per second, and Ethereum about 20 transactions. So Ethereum is about 5 times more as fast. However, it is estimated that Visa network can process about 55,000 transactions per second. So we're not even in the ballpark. This is minuscule compared to Ethereum network after introduction of Casper. So a lot of hope that Casper network, when proof of stake become the thing, then Ethereum network can do a lot more than 55,000 transactions per second. So that is high hope. I hope he's right. So with sharding method, Ethereum ecosystem will be able to validate 1 million transactions per second, creating for the first time possibility of micro payment. So those are the main benefits of proof of stake. So sounds pretty good, right? Let's take a look to see how much Ethereum is going to be required for you to stake your Ethereum so you get rewarded. So think about it, it's almost like interest. You put Ethereums away for staking purposes, and then you get interest per month. So let's take a look to see some more details on that. So what we do know now is that Ethereum's developers haven't come up with a hard number for the amount of Ethereums that will be required to stake. What they have confirmed though is that the number will likely start out higher before gradually being brought to a much lower value. So for instance, Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin have recently throw around a number of about 1,000 Ether to be one of the network stakers. But he said that that number could be go down as low as 10 Ether over time. So the whole reason why I think this is significant for Ethereum is that if they are successfully moved to proof of stake in the future, so let's go back to the price, because that's what this channel is about. It's about crypto investing. So this price here, what's gonna happen is that currently we have 95 million Ethereum circulating, and that number is thought to be at the top end already. So within the next year or so, if Ethereum moves to proof of stake, as you remember, in the proof of stake system, go back to this, there are no block rewards, so no more new Ethereum's gonna be created at all. But Vitalik did say that they are looking at some inflation solutions, so that some of the Ethereum that being lost throughout the year, either through people losing their private key or being stolen, or in the case of the recent parity issues where $150 million worth of Ether being locked away, then there are more Ether in the network to kind of replace those Ether that got basically locked up or lost forever. But what's gonna happen is, one proof stake happen, a lot of people, number one, they're gonna start buying Ethereum because they want to be able to stake their Ethereum to get their monthly, I guess you can call that monthly dividends, or you can call that a monthly interest, just to be holding Ethereum. So they're gonna start buying a lot of Ethereum up as this getting closer and closer to be the completion of proof of stake. Then that's gonna happen. It's gonna try up the price quite a bit. So the price is gonna go up significantly because a lot of people are buying Ethereum, not to resell. So they're gonna buy them, and not only that, they buy them, they're gonna hold them because they're gonna use them to stake Ethereum. So there's gonna be a lot more demand than supply, and the price is gonna shut up. Not only that, those Ethereum, a lot of this Ethereum, in my opinion, is gonna end up in a staking system, where the system will get, a lot of this could get locked up and it won't be traded on the market anymore. So that even create even more demand and a lot less supply available to be traded. So the value is gonna go up quite a bit. So I am hopeful that Ethereum is gonna go up quite a bit next year. How high? No one knows. Some people are throwing around number like $700, $500. Some even say $1,000 by next year, but who knows? All I know is that if everything goes as planned, I think Ethereum price will go up a lot more than it's currently at. Now, it's not all nice and easy and good news. There, just like everything else, proof of stake does have a lot of critics as well. So yeah, proof stake does have some noticeable benefits, as we can see here, as what I just talked about. But there are also a lot of people who disagree with proof of stake. And in this channel, I always try to stay neutral, as you know. So I want to present both sides as well, but I want to go over this quickly. So one of the main critics for this is that the cost of attack should exceed the cost of defense is illogical. So this one is saying that basically proof of work, like Bitcoin currently using, has been around for a long time. It has been around for 8 to 9 years already, and that is a very secure blockchain, as we all know. And 51% attack is not easy, and it's actually really difficult to maintain, to successfully carry out 51% attack, and also to maintain that leading blocks, because you have more hash power. You have to constantly be competing with the other side, so they won't let you maintain that 51% for a long time, and it's really costly to carry out that attack. And it's gonna cost, I think, in the matter of like a few $1 billion to create one fake Bitcoin. That's why at this moment no one really doing it. So the argument here is that for Ethereum to saying that proof of stake is a more superior in defending attacker, like you can see here, that to attack a proof of stake is going to be more costly. This person say that not really, because he do think that proof of work, the attacker will be a lot more harder, because they have to get the hardware, they have to constantly upgrade the hardware, they have to maintain the computing power, so it can be a lot more expensive in the proof of work system than in the proof of stake system. So that one argument is against that. And then also, as we know, that humans are not good at consensus. So the whole idea of proof of stake is that everyone who wants to be a part of that, they have to have their stake in the system. And if they are doing something illegal on the blockchain, or something is not within protocol, the crowd would unmask him and quickly reach consensus to restore justice. He has some doubts about that, and I can see where he's coming from. Again, this article will be available in the comment section below, so you can check it out for yourself. And I want to go over the third point, which is the last point here, is that there's not enough evidence to claim that proof of stake is more resilient than proof of work. And this to go into a lot more detail about a 51% attack that I just talked about. So that's the other side of the argument. Regardless, Ethereum is moving to proof of stake. So that's something that you should know. So there's no debate about Ethereum, whether or not Ethereum is moving to proof of stake. The debate is surrounding whether or not proof of stake is better than proof of work. And of course, we don't have a long history of proof of stake to really saying that it is better or it is not. And Ethereum is going to be the largest coin that are going to use proof of stake. And it's not going to happen overnight. I think they're going to start, one transaction out of 100 transactions or 10 transactions. So a small portion of that is going to be proof of stake. And then the rest will continue, as a normal mining process to proof of work, until the network is stable, and then they're gonna ramp up the proof of stake percentages until Ethereum becomes solely proof of stake system, and that's gonna be part of the let me try to find that section, and that's gonna be part of Serenity. As Serenity, we are gonna be fully proof of stake and no longer proof of work. So I hope this video helped you understand a little more about where Ethereum is at in terms of their upgrade, their technologies, and what does that mean to the price. If you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.